everyone. My name is Hannah Locke. I am a dancer, instructor, and publicity assistant at Manassas Ballet Theatre. I'm joined here today in one of our blue studios with Miss Amy Grant Wolfe, who is the artistic director of MBT, as well as the choreographer of Frankenstein. Joining us on Zoom is Edward Kim Reynolds, and he is talking to us from his home with his beautiful piano.
Yeah.
He is the composer and one of the musicians for Frankenstein. We're going to talk a little bit today about their 20-plus year collaboration and the upcoming production of Frankenstein.
Wonderful.
So we'll go ahead and get started. So first, when and how did you guys meet?
Who wants to tell it, Kim?
Well, let's see if our stories are the same.
Okay, you go first.
I think we met in a ballet class. And I would say, 25 years ago or more.
Hillary introduced us.
Pardon me?
I think Hillary introduced us.
Hillary Wright, our mutual friend and a collaborator, of course, artistic collaborator and choreographer in his own right. Yes, he introduced us.
Yes. And our first collaboration was Dracula. And you gave me some music to listen to, and I loved it. Do you remember all that? Is that the same?
Yes, story? I do. To be honest with you, I wasn't sure that Dracula was our first collaboration. But maybe the Bootstrap Boogie was after the first Dracula. I think maybe you're right.
Yeah, way back when, 2000, in the year 2000, Dracula.
Right.
Yeah. Right. See, we go way back.
Yeah, way back.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I feel that Kim's music has a lot of drama in it. Hopefully you feel the same way working on Frankenstein.
I agree.
And I love drama. And of course, I love beautiful music and interesting music, all of that. So it started with one song, and now it has grown to many ballets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
As I recall, Amy, the first Dracula that we did, we used a couple of my pieces of music, maybe two or three, and then the rest was with the Prince William Orchestra, I believe.
Exactly.
And then eventually we got to where we had a whole evening of my music to put to Dracula.
Exactly right. See, we do have the same story.
Good memories. So your first production of Frankenstein, when would that have been?
Oh, come on, you're the one that looked, 2008.
Yes.
2008. I believe this is our fourth Frankenstein.
I believe you're right.
Crazy. And every single time we do change it up. We add some music, we take out some music, and this time, Kim, you've done an amazing job with each piece. First, listening to the last time we did it and using the DVD and working on everything, and then changing to this year's music, and all of us just love all the enhancements, all the orchestration, everything you have done. Beautiful.
Well, I'm so glad that you feel that way. It's just I have such a busy performing schedule and also a full-time job, and so I've never really been able to get the music recorded properly. And now with the show being put on without a live band, I have no choice but to get it recorded properly, and that's good because then I can, the songs will all of these songs will be on a CD that I'll release, and not all of them are in exactly on the CD are in exactly the same form that they are in the show, but they are not terribly different either. But in any event, it's at the same time that I'm preparing the songs for the show, it's getting me one step further towards finishing the CD.
Exactly. And I believe, Hannah, you had asked what comes first.
Yes. So we all want to know what comes first, the choreography or the music? What inspired what?
And for me, what comes first is actually the music and the story. And then I work on the choreography. So for you, Kim, what is your inspiration for the music?
Well, the inspiration for the music could be any number of sources. It could be, we could say something today that could inspire me to make some music in this conversation. But the inspirations just come from all different sources, and of course, occasionally I'll hear a song and I'll like it, and I'll want to do something like it. Occasionally, I'll hear just something in my head, and I'll take that idea and develop it. And then always in Dracula, and always in Frankenstein, there's one or two songs where you tell me, here's the scene we have, Kim, and this is the kind of music that we need for it. And so then I try to compose it that way, sometimes more successfully than others. And occasionally, I think in the last Dracula that we did, we had a couple of, you needed a particular song for a particular scene, and everything I gave you, you very kindly said, I like it, but it doesn't work. And when we finally got to what we had that worked, we also had one other song that was a perfectly good song that could be used elsewhere. So at the same time that it was frustrating that it wasn't working, sometimes there's a silver lining like that. So
Well,
there's a whole lot of frustration in the composing of the music that just goes without saying. So.
And this time when we met for our first meeting about Frankenstein, which was delayed by many, many months due to COVID and having to totally stay home, you presented me with Love Opus 2. And I loved it. And so we took out other music and put that music in, and then we divided it because I liked the symmetry idea. And I don't know, sure, let's just tell them. It's the music for the prologue and then the ending of the ballet of how Frankenstein is chasing the monster. So it's those moments for me that are especially exciting working with you.
Well, to your credit, Amy, when I gave you Love Opus 2, it was just the piano. There was no ornamentation on it. It was just bare bones cake, no icing whatsoever, no frills. It was just a frame with four wheels and a steering wheel, but it moved. And bless your heart, you saw what I heard in it, which I thought was just something really powerful. But now you've seen, I've now delivered the song to you almost complete with all of the bells and whistles and the icing and the ornaments on it. And to me, it is just stunningly powerful, quite frankly. And the additional musicians that I brought in, when it was all done, they said, "Oh, wow, this is great." But while I was getting them to record it, they really weren't getting it that much, but you did. So God bless you for that. And you've been like that over and over again, and I really appreciate that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. You're able to see the forest from the trees, or the light within. When you're deep in the forest, you can see the light out there. It's out there.
Yay. You had another question or two for us.
Yes. So kind of building off how Frankenstein has been a little bit different each time NBT has done the production. How is it different this year in terms of what's going on in the world with COVID? What alterations or changes are we having to make?
Well, number one, the band will not be live with us.
Right.
How you said, we have to record this now.
Pardon me, what was that, Amy? The last thing?
Have to record the music that you won't be live.
Right.
For me, huge changes, because we are allowed only 20 dancers on the stage at one time at the Hilton. So throughout the choreographic process, as you saw today in rehearsal, I have to be thinking of, okay, if these dancers come on, but now there's too many, I have to get them off, and yet I still have to make it work with the story, all of that. So that, choreographically, huge implications on how COVID works.
Yeah. And you were mentioning that now that we're doing it streamed, we're not doing as many scene changes and things like that.
Well, we're doing all the scene changes, but we don't have to do them in the music. So that changed music and choreography as well, because now you remember, Kim, we would have to have blackout. You would still be playing, and that would give us the time for the scene changes. Since we are recording choreographically and story-wise now, I'm using every moment of your music.
Uh-huh.
The way through. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
So, kind of going off track a little bit, what have, as an organization, you guys, and your band as well, what have you guys had to do in terms of reopening or maybe playing for events, things like that, with the whole COVID pandemic going on?
Why don't you go first, Kim? What have you had to do, you and your band?
Well, to put the show together, the music for the show, I've got, people feel differently about COVID, and I have one band member who will not, we record down in my basement in a home studio in my basement, but one band member won't come down there, so he records remotely, and then he emails me what are called WAV files, and WAV files get imported into the recording project, and then I have to edit them, me and a sound engineer, and that's been fraught with annoying things, and it's difficult, and there's been some drama. Imagine that. And but so that's been quite challenging and frustrating and a pain in the butt, because when I have a composition and I'm bringing in the other musicians to play their parts, be it horns or guitars or whatever, drums or bass. In this case, I'm playing most of the bass myself. I like to work, let's sit down together, let's listen to what I have, and here's my idea, and you tell me your idea, and let's see what works, and I can't do that for people who won't come in.
Right.
And I can't fault them for not willing. And I say, for some of the musicians, we're in the same room, we wear masks, we try to keep 6 feet apart, and that's how we work together. Of course, you can't record with a horn player who's blowing a horn quite hard, and that's shooting all kinds of aerosols out and everything. So we worry about that it's these kind of complications, normal COVID complications, and of course all gigs have just dried up completely. Starting in September, one of my rock and roll bands, we had our first outdoor gig, and we've played 2 since then. And then another one of my rock and roll bands, we've also played 2 outdoor gigs. But I normally gig every weekend, sometimes 2 times a weekend, sometimes 3 times a weekend, and so that all came to a screeching halt, and it's still at a screeching halt. And I've turned down some. I lead my own band also and we do jazz, a lot of jazz, and I try to get wedding work for doing the jazz. And I've lost quite a few gigs where there's some bands who will go inside and do a wedding, and I don't have a full complement of band members who will go inside, and I don't blame them for that. So I haven't lost all of that playing opportunities. But
right.
I still got 10 fingers on 10 toes.
Ball.
Pardon me?
You had an outdoor.
We played the ballet ball, and that was great. Loved it.
That's
It was
right.
wonderful.
That's right.
And it was outside, and we were able to distance. It was wonderful.
And we all
perfect.
And for us, the challenge again is how many in a scene, choreographing in such a way that everyone will stay healthy, wearing the mask except for when we will actually be recording, but for all rehearsals, wearing the masks. so many little elements to think of when it used to be just to try to wrap your head around the music and the story and the steps. But now, all the different elements that to stay healthy in this time of this pandemic.
You can see on our floor, we have all the X's.
That's right.
Marked where we're 6 feet apart.
Or 10
Right.
feet apart, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I know we have to wrap it up.
We do. So I guess the one silver lining with everything that's going on is that we're able to reach a bigger audience with our streamed productions. We've moved everything online. So Frankenstein will begin streaming on October 31st, Halloween. We are all coordinated right now. Very excited in our orange and black.
I was going to mention that. It was a color coordination. There's ladies.
Yep.
That's us.
But we also have currently streaming Les Sylphides and More. Our production of Don Quixote will start streaming on October 17th. You can find all of this information at our website, www.manassasballet.org. Also on our social media pages, we're on Facebook and Instagram, Manassas Ballet Theatre. If you'd like to know more about Kim Reynolds, you can check him out on kimreynoldsmusic.com. You can also find him on YouTube, youtube.com/KimReynoldsMusic.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it, Kim.
Me too.
Yay. And thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Hannah, and thank you, Amy.
Take care.